Chase at the 40. Look at that move. Look at Chase go. Oh, my goodness. What a gear.
He comes down to this in his car end zone. Intercepted.
McPherson. And Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Cross here. Mixon's going to throw. Open man. Caught. Higgins. Touchdown.
Touchdown. Joe Burrow has his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Maan. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. Maan, episode 15 is here. Another great show. Another awesome guest. Maan, I am so excited about our show tonight. How's your week, Maan?
It's been entertaining. Very busy at work. I'm excited about the show tonight. I got to meet this gentleman about a year and a half ago. Good guy, and it's going to be a good episode.
Well, let's get right to it because I'm excited to talk to this young man. I am becoming a huge fan of him and his product. Let's talk. Let's do a little bit of an intro first. He is the owner and operator of a company that is just taking off right now. They are Cincy Bob's. Our guest today, he started this company almost a year ago, and business is booming. We are excited to have on the show tonight Joshua Huffman. Joshua Huffman.
Hey guys,
welcome to the show, Josh.
Thanks, guys. And your intro got me fired up. All right, ready for some football.
Josh,
a lot of work.
Yeah, Josh, thank you for joining us. As I said, I do not say that lightly. I am becoming a huge fan, Josh, of Cincy Bob's. Let's get right into it. First, I gotta know what led you into this business of starting Cincy Bob's and creating all of this great memorabilia for us Bengal fans. What got you started, and how did the process happen?
It's a great question. So if you can pay attention behind me, I'm a little bit of a collector.
Oh yeah,
we're all familiar with Bengal Jim. I joined his podcast about 2 years ago. I would do a segment called Josh the Collector. I would come on his show. I'd show bobbleheads, pennants, posters, just any Bengals memorabilia I have throughout the years. My grandfather left me some stuff. My dad, we've been Bengals fans pretty much since the beginning, although I've only been watching since about 91, 37 years old. But it kind of started with actually some fans that saw some of my memorabilia and they wanted to know more about it. And specifically, one guy wrote me about bobbleheads. And he asked a question. He said, I'm a big collector of bobbleheads. Can you please send me a picture of an Anthony Munoz bobblehead because I'm looking for one? And I said, to my knowledge, there isn't one. I said they did do there's a mini one floating around of Ken Anderson and Anthony Munoz. It's about maybe 4 inches tall, 5 inches tall. It's not very big at all. And I said, there isn't one. And this fan goes, how could they not do a bobblehead of Anthony Munoz? It's their greatest player of all time.
That's the truth, right? How could they not?
Exactly. I said, that's a great point. So I looked into it myself. Couldn't find one. I contacted a couple different places that do bobbleheads. And luckily for me, Anthony Munoz, who's in the Hall of Fame, his rights are still in the Hall of Fame for the licensing rights. So I basically had gone in, I inquired about it, and I actually didn't need Anthony's permission to do it because of the Hall of Fame. I reached out to his foundation and just told him I was doing it, and I was able to donate $1,500 to their charity for their foundation for the proceeds from the Anthony Munoz bobblehead. But at the time, it was just supposed to be the Anthony Munoz bobblehead. I was just going to basically fund it for other fans that wanted it like I did, and from there, it got a lot of publicity. It got a huge fire was lit. The Ring of Honor celebration had come.
Lost you a little bit there. He'll come back.
I tell you what, looking at his man cave, we talked about it off air. That's incredible. I mean,
I know.
You look at. I thought my man cave was good. It does not hold a candle to Josh's. That is incredible.
Right.
But it looks like we lost, and we'll try to get him we'll try to get him back on. But
yeah, I think
again,
he's back. There he is. There you are. You back?
Oh,
Josh?
there he is.
So, sorry.
No worries. You're good. You're good.
You're good.
So,
You're good.
Yeah, that tends to happen sometimes. So, I met Ken Riley Jr. and I said, Ken, I don't know if they'll even allow me to do this. I said, because you're not your father, but could you sign one of these waivers and we'll see if we could roll off a Ken Riley bobblehead? And he goes, I would be honored. My dad has little to no memorabilia out there. There's no posters, there's no pennants, hardly anything. He made like an RC Cola can in the 70s and very limited stuff. So with his permission, with his waiver, I was able to get that approved, and we released our second. Actually, I'll hold these up. So we went from our Anthony Munoz bobblehead here was our first release, and then we got off our Ken Riley bobblehead. As you can see on the bottom, they're all officially licensed products through FOCO, through the Hall of Fame, through the Cincinnati Bengals. And from there, it just took off, man. We basically, in a nutshell, contacted 8 other Bengals legends and decided to produce it as a series, which then it became a full company. It became Cincy Bob's. That was our Bengals Legends Series 1. We ended up getting, you'll see coming out in upcoming months, we got Tim Crumry, Kenny Anderson, Max Montoya, David Fulcher, Isaac Curtis, Reggie Williams, Big Willie Anderson, and James Brooks. That'll all round out the first series.
It's so awesome.
One step
closer
to bankruptcy.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Josh, I truly am a huge fan, but I will tell you my wife is not. My wife is not, because you can see already I got the Anthony over here. I got the Ken Riley over here right behind me. I went out and bought a piece of furniture. My wife's like, why are you buying that? I said, because in the next couple months, Josh is releasing all these bobbleheads. I got to have a place to put them. So I am a huge, no, she thinks they're awesome too. I mean, there's such great quality. I mean, like you said, I mean, you going through what is that called? How do you pronounce that? FOCO?
FOCO. So basically, FOCO, real quick backstory on them. They became a company in 2000, the year 2000. They were Forever Collectibles. And for whatever reason, about 6 years ago, they just shortened Forever to Fo, Collectibles to Co. So they became FOCO. Gotcha. They've been producing bobbleheads in the United States for 22 years now.
Gotcha. Josh, I'm curious real quick. I mean, when it comes to creating a bobblehead, how much work does that take? And is it difficult to get approval and licensing from a player?
It absolutely is. And when I meet these players, I tell them, I don't mean to put pressure on, but the faster I can get it, the faster we can get it out. We're talking from the time they put pen to paper, we're looking at like a 9-month turnaround before it's released, which is what's taken so long. So right now, if you go to www.cincybobs.com, which is our website, you'll see the Anthony Munoz bobbleheads on there sold out. And then the Ken Riley bobblehead is on there. We've got about like 20 left, maybe like 18 to 20 of those left. And that's it. You'll see a whole slew of other products that we have coming out, but basically we're just waiting on shipping dates and release dates. Right. Over here in front of me, I actually have all the Ken Anderson and the Tim Crumrys over here. They're in hand. We're ready to release them. On August 20th of this month, Tim Crumry will be at Heirloom Framing. He's going to be in person. People will come in, they'll buy their bobblehead, and he's going to autograph all 288 of them. So that'll be a huge deal. Oh,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said before, these things are such good quality. They're just so impressive. You can see I have both of mine in cases. Is that do you go through? Is there there's a certain company that you go through that creates these?
Yes. So we can design it ourselves, and it's really cool. That's like my favorite part of the process. So we will sketch some stick figure, artwork. I'm not an artist. I'll send it to their, production team at FOCO. They in turn send me something back, and then I tweak the design. One that really comes to mind, one we have coming out in January, is a certain Cincinnati Bengal who did a flip.
Yes. So Mr. Jerome Simpson.
Yes.
Nice.
Simpson bobblehead that comes out in probably January.
Wow.
So that's going to start another set of ours. So in 2023, we're going to expand this from being one series of Bengals Legends to a slew of different series. We'll have Bengals Legends Series 2. We're gonna have one called we're gonna have a series called Who Day Highlights, which is what the Jerome Simpson bobblehead will fall in place.
Oh, nice.
It'll be a series of really cool Bengals plays through history. We have one that we just simply call exclusives. A couple months ago, we took an order for a 3-foot Who Day bobblehead. It's a 3-foot tall bobblehead of the mascot.
Oh, wow.
Projects like that will fall under the exclusives label. And then a couple Cincinnati Reds projects as well. It's Cincy Bobs. So we do anticipate some Xavier University, some Cincinnati Bearcats, maybe some FC Cincinnati Soccer, which I know nothing about. But
you and me both.
We kind of deal right now with if the fans want it, we're going to do it. And we have taken all kinds of suggestions. The only thing that we really can't do is I just took Jerry Klein is a customer of ours who just did suggest that we do a Greg Cook bobblehead. He's like, how cool would it be if it was like half Bearcats, half Bengals? And I told him that nothing's impossible, but until I could possibly find out who the executor of his estate is or track that down, without that waiver, it's impossible. Right. So, there's just certain projects that we're not going to be able to do. But we definitely pride ourselves it's in our mission statement on the website. If it's something the fans desire, we're going to do it. So
this had to be this has to just been a crazy 8 months for you, right? Yes. I mean, did you ever imagine that it would take off like this?
No, not in my wildest dreams. I've gone from I went from just sitting, down here, going to flea markets, searching on eBay and collecting all this stuff, or the Bengals Pro Shop, to having beers with Kenny Anderson and having dinner with David Fulcher and exchanging, emails on people. That's what's really fun is when the players design their bobblehead. Like Reggie Williams was very intricate in designing his bobblehead. He wanted, black jersey over white jersey, beard, no beard over beard, fro.
Oh, that's cool. Fro. That is so cool. Yeah. So
those details have made it very fun. And it's just really exciting to get these players involved in designing their own bobblehead.
So let's real quick. I want to know, because you said earlier about being a fan since '91. How did that get started? I mean, is that something that your family, you guys have all been Bengal fans, and it was something that was passed down? But how did your fandom begin?
With my dad, of course. He taught me a lot of the bad traits. Unfortunately, like the Bengals lose, my dad's in a bad mood for a week, and I have that now as well.
Me too. Yes.
I remember my first game ever was in '91. My dad took me to Riverfront Stadium. The Bengals got absolutely demolished by the Houston Oilers. It was like 90, 91, 92, somewhere in that market. But even in that, I learned to appreciate, getting to go down there with my dad. And even without the Bengals, I know that people don't like to hear this, but getting to see Warren Moon play live, getting to see, Randall Cunningham play live, and some of those old, legends going down I've always told people the best part of having season tickets, and like I said, people don't really like to hear this, but it's seeing some of the other players play live and watching your team beat them. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, 05, watching the Bengals beat Brett Favre, and 2013 watching Pac-Man pick off Tom Brady to win the game. Like,
that was a great game.
That was a great game.
That was if I recall, that was like a 13-6 game. I think that was the first time Tom Brady had been held without a touchdown. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It was. And I remember it started raining on that last drive, like God was looking out for us.
I know, right?
Sure.
Hey, Josh, real quick, I just want to say, I have a lot of bobbleheads, but the ones I purchased from you, the quality is through the roof. It is such high quality. Very impressive, man. I look forward to buying more. Let me ask you, this is going to be a tough question. Everything, I see your room behind you. Do you have a favorite piece of memorabilia?
I do. I'd love to come on again with you guys sometime and show you maybe like a tour of the man cave down here.
Sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
On the far side of the room, there's a shelf that has 60 bobbleheads on it. Of those 60, they're all custom. There's not any two like it in the world. I've got Paul Brown over there, Sam Weish, Boomer Munoz, Tim Carboni. Those are all bobbleheads that one of my best friends in the world, he's a very talented artist, Hollis Strunk. He paints all kinds of original Bengals artwork. We sell those prints at our shows. I put some of his artwork on Cincy Bob's Facebook page. He, as a gift to me, or I funded some of them. He produced all of those bobbleheads for me. when people come down here, they watch games. My friends come over, my family comes over. They're like, "This shelf is awesome. What are these?" And I tell them all that is a Bengals Legends custom-made bobblehead shelf that Hollis had made for me, and it always gets attention. It's an eye catcher, and I sat down with Hollis and said, "How can we make this set for everybody? How can everybody enjoy this?" And that's kind of another thing that spurred Cincy Bobs. We definitely have just tackled the bobblehead market. We've loved doing it. Some people have asked me, like, what if someone else just starts producing this? We just take pride in, we've been doing it already. I don't think anyone will top our ideas.
No, or your quality. Or your quality.
Amazing.
Well, the quality comes in. FOCO has always produced their bobbleheads pretty similar. Some people say, we had one person right. Your bobbleheads are better than the ones that FOCO makes. Well, FOCO makes these. It's just with us, I think it's in the details in the artwork that we send. I think it's in the details of, like, if you pay attention at the bottom here, they've started doing this with, like, the wing nut here. So it's not arriving in one piece and it's not breaking at the ankles in the box. Those are like all the little things that we pay a little extra for, or tell them that we have to have that or it's a deal breaker, because we want the product to be quality. We want it to sit on the shelf and glare out, you know what I mean? And right. we take a lot of pride in the quality control of the product.
Nice.
That's great.
Well, listen, we're going to now transition here, and we're going to talk. Let's talk a little bit of Bengals. Josh, you want to talk some Bengals with us?
I'm in, buddy. I can talk all night.
All right, let's go. So obviously, Bengal fans, we are. The season has begun, right? Training camp has begun. Training camp is the start of the regular season in my eyes. We have gotten a lot of great stuff from training camp so far. A lot of information coming in. There's been a lot of things going on. It's been a very busy training camp so far. Before we talk about offense and defense, let's talk real quick about our guy, the one right here behind me, Mr. Burrow. Obviously, since the last time we talked, he had his surgery. He had his appendectomy. Maan, you were texting today because, again, Maan in his day job is a firefighter / EMT. So anytime there's medical, Maan always blows up. We have a group chat, a Bengals group chat. Maan always blows it up with, it's the end of the world kind of thing. That's just how he is. I mean, that's that side of it. But Maan, tell us a little bit about. You noticed the thing on Burrow's arm, and they've talked a little bit about it today. Explain it to our Bengal fans. So, because I'm sure once that broke, everybody started panicking about it. Maan, tell us a little bit about what that is on his arm.
Well, being a paramedic, I noticed his left arm had a cloth over it, and you could see there's an IV access there, a PICC line or IV access. Basically, the only reason that would be there is to give him medication. And if he had his appendix taken out, he probably had some complications and nothing serious. He probably just had infections, and they're giving him IV antibiotics. And Dr. Chow, the pro football doctor on Twitter, even noticed it and mentioned it also. It's not a major setback. I still think he'll be back in a couple weeks. But, listening to some of the pods of Paul Daner, they said that he was grimacing a little bit when he got up from the cart that he was driving yesterday. He's only a few days removed from the procedure. Yeah. And trust me, if he's battling an infection, he probably doesn't feel 100%. So I'm sure the medication is going to work, and he'll be fine. He'll be fine in a few weeks.
And really just seeing
I wasn't panicking today. You're killing me. You make it sound like
listen, I'm sure the guys on our text message group would probably side with me, but listen, I mean, he was out there, right? I mean, that's a good sign in itself. He's out there driving around the cart. I mean, it's hysterical, right? All the stuff on Twitter with him driving around the cart is just cracks me up.
Lynch pictures.
Yeah. Joe Burrow driving the cart. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I like that. That's a new You hear that?
Bengal fans? That's good.
Yeah, let's get Josh to do that. That'd be great.
Put the IV in there.
Yeah. No, let's not do that. So let's talk about. I want to hear from both of you. Let's talk about what we have seen so far offensively from this team during training camp. Again, obviously, our guy Joe Burrow hasn't been leading the show. Brandon Allen has, and it looks like he's been throwing the ball well. Maan, let's start with you first offensively. What are some takes that you have seen during training camp so far?
At the offensive line play, I know Collins has been hurt. I think Carmen was nicked up a little bit on Monday, but he's out in the padded practice today. Albert Breer mentioned some things about the offensive line, how, Carmen looks better, looks stronger, looks more dedicated. That's a positive thing. And of course, seeing some of the highlights. I mean, Jamar Chase, wow, he's taken it to another level. I mean, he is who he is. He's special. Tyler Boyd looked good today. I was thinking and just was talking to my son today. I'm going to give you a hot take. I'm telling you, a dark horse MVP candidate for the Bengals and in the AFC Player of the Year. I'm going to tell you Joe Mixon. Yeah. Joe Mixon is going to have a special season if that offensive line improves like we think it will. And, listen, teams are going to be geared to stopping that big play, trying to keep Jamar Chase from scoring 80-yard touchdowns. Joe Mixon's going to get the ball a lot, and I think he is going to have a special season. I'm really excited about that.
Agreed. Josh, how about you? What are some of your takes offensively?
To piggyback on what he said, that Joe Mixon, man, he's been electric. He can't just do a normal practice. This guy practices like he plays. He's out there making one-handed grabs. I definitely agree with he said it himself in the interview. He said the holes are already opening up. He's having holes he's never seen before. So I'm super excited about Joe. The other guy and I've already been excited about him, but just to kind of like kill out some of the flames of what I've read on Facebook to, hush up some of these fans. Hayden Hurst is having a camp already. He is stretching the field, making some plays, and I'm very excited about him. People underestimate that, he was in with the Ravens, and then they got, they love 2 receiver sets in Baltimore. When Mark Andrews came in, it did push him off to the side a little bit. He goes to Atlanta, got banged up a little bit. Kyle Pitts comes in. Kyle Pitts is a maniac. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that he's a bad football player. It's just, when he's next to 2 of the top 6 tight ends in the league, then maybe he doesn't look as well. But I definitely think he's going to stretch the field more than CJ Uzomah did. And I don't think we're going to miss a beat in that aspect. The other guy, this will be more for special teams, but Stanley Morgan, he has been making plays, and
yes, he has.
He's making strides. He's really showing out, trying to be the 4th wide receiver. I don't know what they're going to do there, if they're going to try to bring in some more depth before the season, but Stanley Morgan has had a hell of a camp.
Absolutely. I'm gonna piggyback off you, Josh, because those were my 2 biggest points. Is I think number 1, Hayden Hurst looks the part, right? I mean, this guy, and like you said, Josh, he really has not got the opportunity yet to be the dude. He really hasn't. And we've talked about, even on this show, we're looking for that 4th wide receiver, and I'm a big fan of Stanley Morgan Jr. I've said that on the pod many a times. I love a football player that just comes out there and does everything you ask him to do, whether it's play special teams, block on offense, whatever you need to do to get on the field. This guy has done it. I would love to see a guy like Stanley Morgan Jr. step up and be that 4th wide receiver. But I'm going to tell you right now, watching Hayden Hurst play so far, I'm sure that he could be our 4th wide receiver. I mean, he is that good. And like you said, Josh, I mean, he's just out there making ridiculous plays. And I obviously, like you guys said, Joe Mixon, I'm with you, Maan. I don't really know if that's a hot take, because this dude, we talked about it on the show that he has put together very productive seasons with bad offensive lines. I mean, bad. His first couple years, good Lord, they were awful. And this guy's still putting up big yards. He's another guy that really hasn't got that opportunity to really tote the rock and carry a team and have a good offensive line in front of him. I'm with you, Maan. I agree. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a breakout year on the offensive side of the ball. And I'll tell you, you talk about Jamar Chase. Again, our receiving core is very talented, but I will tell you that Brandon Allen, for the Bengal fans that aren't fans of him, he's a good number 2. He really is a good number 2. The guy, listen, I know.
I don't agree.
The guy knows the offense. He knows the offense. He runs the offense well. He understands what Coach Taylor wants. And again, you watch him in practice. He's out there throwing dimes. Again, he's got he's got the best receiving core in the NFL he's throwing to. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, I like him as a number 2. I'm good with him as a number 2. Go ahead, Maan. What do you want to say?
I don't. No, I mean, listen, he does know the offense. He knows Zach Taylor. He's with him at the Rams. Listen, if he does have to play, which I hope he doesn't, you know, he might give us a game or two. But I've always thought the Bengals could do a little bit better at the backup quarterback position. But I'm ready for Joe Burrow to get back. And I guess it is good for Brandon Allen. Hey, get some reps with the first team.
It is good.
That's good. But I hope we don't have to use him this year. Let's put it that way.
Listen, I don't know how you two feel about this, but I don't care if Joe Burrow doesn't take a snap in the preseason. Josh?
I agree. Typically, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fan because I have season tickets and I go, I'm like, I want to see Burrow, but
yeah, I know.
Historically, how many preseason snaps did Peyton Manning ever take? You know,
I mean, you see Tom Brady occasionally taking snaps, but listen, if Joe Burrow doesn't take a snap during preseason, I am perfectly good with that because Joe Burrow is not. Again, we've talked about this, Mont. Joe Burrow has not had an off season, a complete off season. This guy's basically walked onto the field and lit it up without a lot of practice. What were you going to say, Mom?
Jake, you always make fun of my age. Yes, I'm old. I do remember
really
1979. Really Ken Anderson broke his hand in a preseason game, and the Bengals were supposed to have a pretty decent team that year. He was out like 7 games, and they never recovered. It was a meaningless preseason game. I think they played 6 preseason games back in the day. It was crazy.
It was a lot. It was like 5 or 6.
And he broke his hand, and it all went downhill from there. But, yeah, we don't want a repeat of that.
No. Again, those guys, I've seen what I need to see. Let the twos get reps. Let our guys sit. All right, let's go to defense. Josh, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Defensively, what are some things that you've liked so far in training camp?
Well, number one, I'm a little discouraged about the whole Jesse Bates scenario.
Yeah.
But the Bengals, and I try to tell people this, they do have one thing going for them that most teams don't. Typically, when a player holds out, the guy taking the first team reps isn't a number 1 draft pick. And Dax Hill is out there getting crucial reps with the number 1 defense. And I mean, for that to be, his segue into the league, I mean, that's masterful. A lot of players don't get that luxury to come in and play with that first squad, in the system that he's getting. So I'm very optimistic about Dax Hill. I was really big on the Cam Taylor Britt pick, but he has struggled a little bit. He had a rough camp today. I was reading the whole article on him. He got lit up a couple times, but then again, he's going against T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So that's hard for any rookie. Joseph Asai's back in pads. I'm really excited for Joseph Asai in his second year. And then I guess the other storyline is, Trey Hendrickson hasn't been in camp yet because he's still dealing with like an ailment, but they said that he will be there soon and ready to go. So
good deal.
Maan?
Yeah, I just to piggyback on what he said. I mentioned Jesse Bates last week. I got lit up a little bit about that, but but with Dax Hill, first round pick, he's getting all the reps right now. That's a positive. He's going to come in and he has to get adjusted to the pro game. Super athletic. I'm excited about him. And with Jesse Bates holding out, him getting the reps, that's nothing but good for him. I mentioned earlier about Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated being at camp, and he had 5 key camp observations. One of the big ones was B.J. Hill, and he was mentioning how B.J. Hill was so productive last year, signed that big contract. But it was a rotational thing with Ogunjobi. He remained fresh. They came in. They really took care of each other. So they needed another guy to come in and give them quality snaps behind B.J. Hill. Well, today, Dan Horde was mentioning how Zach Carter was dominant in one-on-one. So maybe Zach Carter is going to be that guy. And I was high on him in the draft, and I think that he's going to give us some key snaps. You mentioned Cam Taylor Britt. Yeah, he did struggle, but I'm still excited about him. I think we got a lot younger in the secondary, a lot more athletic. And you know how the NFL is, pass happy. I think that's going to make the Bengals just an overall, I think they're going to be ready for that. That's about it. Trey Hendrickson, obviously, I need him to stay healthy. He's the key to that defensive line, him and Reeder and Hubbard. Those guys are, 3 of the better ones in the league. I don't think they get enough publicity compared to other players, but I love all three of those guys, and I'm glad they're Bengals, and I think they're going to be key to the defense.
And I'll piggyback. I mean, I love, you know how much I love these young DBs that we have on our roster now, and I agree with you, Josh. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Whether or not Jesse Bates would be there or not, I really think Dax was going to get a lot of snaps anyways. I think this is a guy that the Bengals feel is going to be on the field, whether Jesse Bates is on the field or not. I was watching some of practice, and as a football coach, I love to watch, you know, how the NFL runs practices and runs their drills, and you know, they had an inside period with Dax where they brought Dax up in the box, and Dax was calling out, making defensive calls from inside the box. And I think that, you know, as a coach, is incredible to think about a rookie stepping on an NFL field and being able to call a defense already, especially, you know, like I said, from inside the box where you're having to make adjustments, you know, with your front seven. So I agree, Josh. I think Dax is getting these incredible snaps right now. And those young DBs, I mean, they're having to go up against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd, but that's only going to make these guys better. I love Eli Apple coming out this week and just saying, like, I mean, him and Jamar Chase are going at it every day at practice, and that's only going to make those two guys better. And it's definitely going to make Eli Apple better, which is what we want to see. I mean, this is a guy that we need to play well this year. He's a guy that we're counting on, obviously, who played well last year. Maan and I have talked about it on our show. You know, Eli Apple was a huge factor in that Super Bowl run. He played really well, especially in the 3 games prior to the Super Bowl. He played really well. So, you know, I like what you guys are saying. I also love to see linebacker play, and Akeem Davis-Gaither had a nice pick 6 the other day. You know, I love to see that guy back and healthy, because I think he's a guy that we have completely forgot about. Just like a Joseph Asai, we're getting these guys back. It's like getting extra draft picks, because they really haven't played a lot for us and didn't play for us last year. So that's exciting to see the good linebacker play as well. But yeah, all good points. And then obviously, guys, special teams. I mean, our guy Money Mac, how crazy was that field goal? I mean, that was good from 75.
Make a bobblehead of him. You sell $1 million.
Yeah.
Maybe get the leg moving or something.
There you go.
I mean, that was incredible. I mean, he you know, he thinks he can hit from 75. He hit from 75 the other day. I mean, that thing was good by 10 yards. That was incredible. What did you guys think about that? That was insane.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's got ice water in his veins. I know we got Joe Burr, but that guy, you know, he has the ice water, man. He's clutch.
Listen, if they have a chance in a game, you know, if it's 68, 70 yards, like 5 seconds left before half, let the guy kick it. Let him kick it. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, if it's short, you got to keep it from a run back, but give the guy a chance. You know, that would be something. And listen, that was going to be good from 70 plus, easy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, that wasn't. I mean, it didn't barely cross the line. It had a lot of extra room.
Let me ask you guys, did it kind of hurt a little bit to watch that, thinking, man, if we just could have got another first down in the Super Bowl, let this guy line up and, you know, if he had to tie the game, we were in a dome. I mean, it was all set up for this guy to drill it and not only break the 14 field goals record, but, you know, I know it's hard to say what ifs, but there's a part of me that watched him kick that 65-yarder. It's like my heart kind of sunk a little bit, thinking, oh my God, if we could just got one more first down, we're at least going into overtime in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I listened to a podcast a couple days ago, Chris Collinsworth, Pro Football Focus, and they were talking about the win total of all the AFC teams. They had the Bengals at 11 wins with really no regression. And one of the Pro Football Focus analysts, it was a compliment, even though it didn't sound like one. They made it to the Super Bowl with that offensive line that really struggled. And they went out and spent a lot of money on quality players.
Yep.
I mean, listen, the AFC is loaded, but the Bengals made it all the way to the dance last year with a really faulty unit that, I mean, let's face it, they were subpar.
70 sacks.
I know.
70
I'm
sacks.
trying to be positive and not negative because I got beat up last week. Okay. Okay. But they were poor. And, that podcast really pumped me up. I was listening to it when I was at work. I'm like, God, I just want to run through a wall. And, but no, I mean, listen, I can't watch a Super Bowl, but I hear what you're saying about that last play. If we had 10 more yards, let the guy kick it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he would have made it. There's no doubt. We all know he would have made it. I mean, after watching him kick those 3 games prior, I mean, that guy is so clutch. Listen, Josh, real quick. Go ahead.
One more thing, real quick. You guys were talking about Hayden Hurst. I mentioned Albert Breer in that observation from training camp. He had 5 key ones. His number one observation was Hayden Hurst and how impressive he looked and how he's going to really, that Bengal offense is going to love having him in there. And they think he's an upgrade over CJ. I agree.
I agree too. And real quick, let me just throw this out here. CJ, just play football. Just play football. Leave us out of your mouth. Leave us out of your mouth. Again, I said it last week. CJ, I loved you as a Bengal. You are on the 4th best team in your division, and we've upgraded our position.
Yes.
I love you, CJ. Just play football.
Just
right?
Stop.
No bobblehead for him. No bobblehead.
No bobblehead.
I'm joking.
Josh, let me before we get out of here, is there anything else? Again, where can people follow you on Twitter? They can follow you on Facebook. How can fans find out more about Cincy Bobs?
So for the daily, typically we have the Cincy Bobs Facebook page. So on Facebook, go to the Cincy Bobs. You'll find us there. We do something really fun. I do a daily Bengal bobblehead of the day. So, you get all kinds of stuff that FOCO's put out over the last 22 years. Our website, you can purchase directly from the website when the bobbleheads drop. That's www.cincybobs.com. Right now, you can get on there and buy one of the last 18 Ken Rileys we have. Let's see. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. I do a lot of these podcasts. So, you'll definitely see us coming out. We're coming hard. We got Tim Crumry on August 20th, and then in mid-September we'll release the Ken Anderson bobblehead on the website. In September we're going to have Max Montoya, Isaac Curtis, David Fulcher. So basically from this point on, there should be at least one bobblehead release a month.
I need a raise. Real
quick, earlier, Jake, you said that you love the bobbleheads, but your wife gave you a hard time.
Yeah,
I've had 30 to 40 different men tell me, I love the bobbleheads. I want them all, but my wife's going to kill me. This is the only thing I can say to rebut that. Imagine me going out to my wife and telling her, honey, I've withdrawn a large sum of money from our savings and I'm starting a bobblehead company. So, imagine that.
How did that go, Josh? I'm real curious. How did that go?
She said so when we're out with friends.
Are you still together? Good.
Yeah. When we're out with friends, she talks about, this is great. And I love what he's doing. And I'm behind her with just this look, and people are wondering what the look is. And it's kind of like a little, I got this look going on. Like what? Because she was not supported from the beginning. She was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, honey, I collect. I know what people want. I think it's going to be, I think it really will be a successful business. And so far, it's been not only fun, but it's been a dream come true to meet these players that I grew up idolizing. And I think we're putting a lot of great collectibles, limited edition collectibles, because we only do about 288 of each one. And people ask, are you going to do more? We're not. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it limited. That's not to say we can't always go back and do a Munoz, with the gold jacket on, or another Munoz. But as these come, I want people to jump on them, not because I'm trying to make a buck, but I'm a collector, and the limited amount just it makes it more fun and better to collect and trade and all that stuff. So
I agree, man. I like I said before, man, I'm a collector too, and I just absolutely love them. I'm so excited about what is coming down the road. I thought I was a real collector, and then you have to go on and throw that in the background. And now I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to tell my wife after the pod, like, listen, we got to start talking about making some more room in my man cave.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I do want to say real quick, I'm excited to announce that you said there's 18 Ken Riley's left.
Exactly.
Is that what you said about? So we Bengal Pulse listeners are very excited to announce that we have one, and we are going to be giving it away here on the Bengal Pulse in a couple weeks. Again, I know for me, I absolutely love these. I know Maan does as well. Josh, thank you so much for giving us more memorabilia, because it's hard to find these players from the past that Maan and I grew up watching and loving. It's hard to find their stuff. I mean, I remember I have the whole starting lineup set, but besides the starting lineup set, it's almost impossible to find Boomers and Anthony's and all those guys that I grew up loving. So thank you, Josh, for everything you do, and thank you for coming on the show today.
We appreciate you, man. We appreciate your work. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. That's another edition of the Bengals Pulse. Guys, check us out on Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify, all those podcast platforms. If you like this podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Again, guys, if you have the time, go on, give us a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. Also, follow us on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9, and on Instagram, the same without the at Bengals_Pulse9. Again, guys, if you have any questions that you would like us to talk about on the show, make sure you put them down in the comment section. And again, make sure you check out all of our pods on the Wincinnati Podcast Network. Our guys, Ace and Zim, have put this family together, and we are rocking and rolling. Once again, give it up for Josh Huffman. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
So much for coming on the show, and thank you again for giving us Bengal fans all this awesome stuff to collect. All right, Maan. That's another edition of the Bengals Pulse. He is Maan. I am Jake. Another great show. Bengal fans, have a great week. Hoo day. We will see you next week.
See you guys.